freedom of expression is a right that is also protected under the European Convention of Human Rights and the Charter of Fundamental Rights. And it's true that it's likely to come into conflict with the right to privacy sometimes, or with the right to data protection. Whenever such a conflict occurs, the courts have to establish, well, they have to strike a right balance between the two rights, and basically decide which right takes the priority in the given case. It all depends very much on the particular circumstances of the case, although there are some criteria that may help with resolution of such cases. An example of a situation where there is a conflict between the right to privacy and freedom of expression is, for example, a media publication that contains defamatory information which targets somebody's reputation. Or another example is a media publication which discloses some intimate facts from somebody's life. Whenever such a case ends up in a court, the court has to look at all the circumstances of the case, as I said, and decide whether it's the right to privacy or freedom of expression that takes priority. And one of the criterion that matters when resolving such case is, for example, a status of the person concerned. So it matters whether this person is a public figure or a private individual. The well-established case law of the European Court of Human Rights says that whenever there is an interference in the private life of a public figure, it's a person who has to accept wider limits of criticism. So basically, he has to accept further interference into his private life than private figures. There are also other criteria, like, for example, whether the media publication contributes to a matter of public interest, whether, for example, this public figure made this particular sphere of his life public in the past. So these are all criteria that matter whenever you have to decide what's more important in a given case, the right to privacy or the freedom of expression. Internet is very important for the exercise of freedom of expression. It allows us to express our opinions, views in a way that will be accessible to many people. It's also very important for us when seeking information, and seeking information is also protected as part of freedom of expression. It's obviously needless to say that freedom of expression is also one of the human rights that is protected both in the European Convention of Human Rights and under the Charter of Fundamental Rights in the European Union. So, as I said, on the one hand, online communication is very crucial for the exercise of freedom of expression. On the other hand, it poses certain threats with regard to the right to privacy. Because a publication that we dislike, that we believe is offending, or that discloses some intimate information about our lives, it may circulate in a very uncontrolled way on the internet. It may easily spread, it may be copied, it may be easily searched, also in connection to our name, for example. And sometimes it's also very hard to get rid of such a publication from the internet. It may cause some difficulty. So online communication, on the one hand, is an opportunity, but is also a challenge. Unfortunately, there is a pretty well developed case law, both by the European Court of Human Rights and the Court of Justice of the European Union, that refers to the problem of online communication in the context of freedom of expression and in the context of the right to privacy. There is no doubt that human rights apply equally both to offline and online expression. And the courts, the both European courts, they had an opportunity to, for example, deliver their decisions in cases concerning the liability of the website owner for the so-called third-party content. Also, the European Court of Human Rights delivered its decision concerning managing of newspapers' online archives. And there is also a very controversial and highly discussed judgment of the Court of Justice of the European Union concerning restricting access to media publications via search engines. So we decided to gather all that and present it in a course just to make sure that the participants will get the most recent and up-to-date case law analysis.